This episode, we rebuild this motor here, 49cc Yamaha PreBug Zoomer. Let's get to it. Alright, so here is the motor, 49cc's of absolute fury stuffed into that Yamaha PreBug Zoomer. No more. Here we've got the Stage 6 70cc Mark II Pro Sport Cylinder Kit, the Stage 6 HPC crankshaft, the Stage 6 big intake, and of course the Polini CP21 carburetor. But all this can't go in there until we strip it all down. So let's get all the rubbish out of there so all that goodness can go back in. Let's go. Now it's time to split the case. I bought a brand new case splitter for this one because the other one expired. It was one of those very cheap ones. This one was not so cheap, and I gotta say it is so much better. Look at this thing. It's got these little nuts that are expandable. Slide them on and then you do them up. So much easier than the other way where you've got to tangle with nuts and bolts. But let's split this case. Engine is apart, and as usual it is filthy as ever, but I do have to say the investment in that crank pusher tool was an absolute godsend. It made it so much easier than the last times I've had to do this. So go buy a good one, it's definitely worth it. Now normally when I clean the cases I use a very generic, very cheap degreaser, about $3.50 a pop. This time I'm going to try something different. I'm going to go with a very expensive degreaser and see if it's actually worth it. This one is about $13 a pop, and I'm also going to try something else cheap, oven cleaner. It cleans the shit out of your dirty oven. I'm sure it will clean the shit out of a dirty two-stroke case as well. So let's put it to the test. Alright, we're back. The cases are clean, and I can confidently tell you There isn't a product out there that you can spray on a two-stroke case and watch that two-stroke oil disappear. It doesn't exist. So quite a few cans of degreaser later, parts cleaner and everything else that I could think of, I've finally got these things clean. Moving on now to the Stage 6 70cc Sport Mark II Pro Cylinder Kit. An unboxing, if you will. So here we are, we'll take him out of the box. This is the first time I've taken it out. All aluminium cylinder with an aluminium cylinder head with the O-ring gasket, and the piston is aluminium with 2 piston rings. This thing is going to be absolutely sweet. The HPC crank with its forged connecting rod is good for speeds up to 16,000 RPM. No issues then. Alright, here we are. We are back. We are ready to put this motor back together. I have my brand new clean cases ready to go. I have my crankshaft been in the freezer. I have my bearings been in the freezer. I have my Honda Bond ready to go. And I have the aid of a computer duster. This stuff freezes stuff instantly. So I'm ready to put it all back together. I think this time I'm going to put the bearings in the case like so. I'm going to put the crankshaft in the small side, and then I'm going to pull the small side into the large side of the case with a case pull-in tool. I think that's going to be the best way to do this. So let's get to it. Alright, motor's done, everything rotates freely up and down. It is an absolute beauty. But now we've got the big valve intake from stage 6. Here is its little box that it arrived in. So I'll bolt this guy in, Honda bond it up, and then that is the motor absolutely complete. Let it dry overnight and then come back and pressure test it. Motor's back together. It's been about 24 hours since we've screwed it all up. We put the Honda bond in there and we sealed it all together. All that stuff is dry. It's now time for pressure test. Now I've already tested it a little bit and I can see it has the very smallest of air leaks. I'm just going to show you exactly where it is. Air leak is down in there where the gasket goes together. You can just see it. I'm not sure if it shows up, but I can just see it down in here, down between here. Slightest of little air leaks. Can even hear it. That leak I could not fix, so what I've done is I've pulled off the inlet manifold, I've changed the gasket, resealed it up and retorqued it down. Waited another 24 hours and I can say it is now sealing as it should. That just goes to show, never make the assumption it's a fresh motor, everything's going to be perfect, because I was pretty confident and the slightest little leak could have caused issues later down the track. So this little motor is pretty much complete now. HPC crank, stage 6 70cc Mark II Pro Sport cylinder kit. It is going to be absolutely epic. But that is not all. I jam more stage 6 goodness up the arse of this PreBug motor in future episodes to try and make this the best PreBug motor that I can possibly build. So stay tuned for that. See you on the next one. Like and subscribe.